Welcome to DCxPC Live Presents Scene Support, the podcast that highlights the people behind the scenes who keep DIY and underground music alive. From the bookers and the sound techs to the zine writers and the venue operators, we're here to give credit where it's long overdue. I'm your host, Scott Pash, founder of DCxPC Live, a DIY label documenting live punk, hardcore, ska, and metal through short-run vinyl releases. After decades in bands and behind the scenes, I've learned that scenes don't survive on music alone. They survive because people build infrastructure, take care of each other, and imagine something bigger than a show flyer or a lineup. Today we are meeting with two of those people that help support the scene through their amazing work as well as their kindness and general awesomeness. Today I'm sitting down with Max and Zoe from Denounce Normalcy, a DIY Carolina booking group who specialize in punk, hardcore, and psychedelic music. They strive to create a scene where people are free to express themselves freely, as such places are lacking in the Deep South. This duo of hardworking DIY promoters became friends at a local punk show and have been putting in the work to make shows that, like the one that brought them together, continue to exist in their area. I had the pleasure of working them when I was booking the recent RBNX Negative Rack store, and I'm stoked to finally get a chance to meet them and show them the appreciation they deserve. So let's dig into this. How's it going?
It's
Good.
going well. It's going well.
All right. You know what? You do thankless work. And I want to say thank you to everybody who thanks you at the time, but then doesn't remember how hard it is to put a show together. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So it doesn't matter. We can start anywhere. We can start in the beginning if one of you wants to talk about how you got into this, or you want to just jump into the relationship that you built, wherever you want to go. I will go anywhere. You're the guide to the path.
The story starts with a little band called Newgrounds Death Rugby. They're a Midwest emo band that started up in Charleston, South Carolina. And I'd listened to them early stages of high school. And I had listened to them completely organically, not even knowing they were part of the scene. And we came across a local flyer just at random in public, and I was like, wait a minute, I've listened to those guys. I know that band. They're coming to some coffee shop around us? That's crazy.
All right. And that's the show where you two met?
Yeah, so he invited me to we were in a calculus class together, and we got talking about music, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to this show. It's at this coffee shop. It's gonna be whatever. It's fine. And the rest is history. We just kept going to shows for an entire summer, just every weekend.
That is the way to do it. So how long ago was that?
Is my connection any better now?
Summer of...
Yeah, I can hear you now. You're good.
Oops. So we started going to shows that summer. I think we went to one every week, sometimes two a week. Wherever there was one around, we'd drive 2-3 hours to shows sometimes. To go to Charleston, Wilmington. We didn't go to Columbia that summer. After that. And it was kind of just we started going to more shows, and a lot of people I know in the scene kind of see it online, then decide to start going to it. We very much so learned by doing. Everything that we learned about punk and the scene and such was just from people we met at shows.
Sure.
Yeah, I tell people I was a poser at first because I didn't listen to punk music until I started going to shows and seeing punk music live. And people were like, what? You've never heard of Bad Brains? And I'd be like, no, what's Bad Brains? I only know Scramble. Or I only know
Hymns of Blasphemy.
Hymns of Blasphemy.
Huge hardcore band in SC.
So you only know the locals. You're like, I have no idea what came before 30 years ago. We're local scene kids, and we've been going to local shows, and that's all we know that exists.
Yeah.
Sometimes Max has been getting more into it, but sometimes Max will bring up very basic, ABC punk bands to me, and I will have frankly no idea what they are talking about.
We'll get this later. I study audio tech.
Okay.
And I was debating which school to go to, and we were at a show, and we met this band called Citrus, who now is local to Boston. And there's this great scene up there, and that sold me a concept. And it's up here where I really started building the scene, because it was a very tight scene up here. and it kind of inspired both of us really to start working on maintaining and growing it.
Yeah, and that's where I want to get to. Like, what made you go from going to shows, talking to people, building community, getting to know people, everything that we all love so much about going to shows, where you said, you know what? We're not in bands, or maybe you are, you might not be in bands, but you said, what I really want to do is start organizing, putting shows together. Like, what was the impetus? Was there like a band coming through town that you really dug? Or did you just say, not enough shows are happening, we have to be the water that makes the garden of the scene grow? Like, what was the impetus?
Do you want to tell the story, or should I?
No, I got it. Let me
Okay.
go.
Okay.
So we started by getting into making patches, which, as DIY as you can get, really. We started making patches and like learning the process of it, and we made stencils, we made lino cuts, we did the whole 9 yards, everything. And then people would compliment our patches, and they were like, "You should make more. You should sell them." And we were like, "Sure,
Why not? Yeah.
why not?" And then there was this band called Cherry Vanilla that was like this Riot Girl band that was like really up and coming. They had nothing released. They had like done maybe 3 shows, and we were just really big fans of theirs. And we were like, we made a little design, we made them some patches, we were like, here, just for you guys, and they were like, these are really cool. Other bands want patches too, like, you should, like, make patches for other bands. And then we were like, yeah, and then they were like, can you make our CDs too? And we were like, yeah, we can make your CDs, I guess so. And then they were like, could you get us in contact with these other bands? And it was, yeah, we can do that. And then, could you get us in contact with this venue? And, yeah, we can do that.
And the first show that we booked, so the first show that we booked was actually, so Zoe goes to school in Pennsylvania, and I was like, and you kept saying like, oh, I really want to go to like one last really good show before I go, and I'm like, and at this point I'm already, we're already getting bands in contact with other bands. We already know them. We're friends with like the promoters in Myrtle Beach. Like, we know all the venues owners by like first name basis. So I'm like, why don't I take a crack at it? And it was kind of like a going away present. And that's where Newgrounds comes back. Newgrounds, that's where we Cherry Vanilla, Lunchbox Hero. I almost said Bummer Co. And Molting. And it was such a good, like, diving headfirst. It was very big bands. I had to change the date like 15 times.
They are not emphasizing the absolute feat that they put together. We met at a Newgrounds Death Rugby show. Newgrounds was on tour for like 3 months leading up to right before I was about to leave to go to school.
Okay.
And they tracked Newgrounds down and like managed to book them for a show right after a tour ended.
Which is hard, trust me, I'm aware.
Yeah, like, no way in hell those band members wanted to pull up to that venue after 3 months on the road.
I talked to the vocalist. The vocalist was like, I am so tired. Like, they're like, I don't want to go on stage. And I was like, come on, you're here.
And they booked the same band that was the show that we met at.
Oh man, that's awesome.
And that band like never comes through our area. It was their second time playing in our area since we had started doing all of the Denounce stuff.
That is so rad.
And so, sorry for jumping around a bit.
No, jump around. It's okay. We can do this. This is boom, 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 bomb.
So what do you call it? The reason why we have the name Denounce Normalcy is we started making the patches, and we were like, okay, we should actually make a thing out of this. Like, we should probably make an Instagram to post about this. And like, we were doing, Zoe was doing markets and stuff. I think, was that before or after? That was after Cherry Vanilla. Yeah. And we're like, we should make an Instagram or something. And the first patch that I'd ever made, which was, it's absolutely horrible. Like, it's barely legible. I cut it that stencil out of cardboard for some reason, and it said Denounce Normalcy. And I was like, huh, that's a good name. And kind of stuck with it.
Yeah, it was very like this is a workshop. We can always change it later. It's like
And we didn't change it later.
And those things tend to stick. But you know what? I like the name.
Thank you.
Right? It's you know, it's kind of an inverse of like letting your freak flag fly. The idea that like normality is an illusion. It's a social construct. You know, it takes me back to like when I was in high school in the 90s, and it was the first or second propaganda CD, and like they had like read this book called Refusing to Be a Man, and I was like, oh, manhood is a social construct, masculinity is a social construct, the normality of how we're supposed to behave is a social construct. So like denouncing normalcy, I don't think of it as like act like a weirdo. I think it means denounce what is considered the norm. Normative behaviors, which change over time anyway, are designed to put upon you. So if I'm overthinking it, but that's how I read it, and I was like, love it.
Yeah, you're properly reading it.
Yeah, you're very much so properly reading into it. That's one of the reasons that I like the name personally is because it's a bit open to interpretation on what it means to you, and I have people tell me numerous things it means to them. I think I like yours best though. I like
Yes.
You went out.
You would.
Woo, woo.
Yeah, that was where the name came from. And yeah, I booked the first show. And
How'd the first show go?
It went amazing. We had over 100 people show up. Everything ran extremely smoothly. I've had a lot of shows afterwards that have run a lot worse than my first show. My first couple shows, the first show went good, and then our second show, it went pretty good. Not as good, but it went pretty good.
I can go back to the first shows I put on in high school and think how terrible they were. And then they got progressively better. And then sometimes worse.
Yeah, it's so interesting because we had a show over the winter, and we were like, all these bands are great, all our friends, everyone's reposting it, we're gonna have like so many people here, we're not gonna know what to do with it. And we had like under 50 people show up, and we're like, dang, like where'd they all go? And it turns out because there's like people like people who were bringing their friends got sick, and like people who like had
From what I heard about from RBNX and Negative Racks, you booked a show on New Year's Day where some bars don't even like to be open because their bartenders and everyone else partied all night. So you managed to find a venue and book a show. From what I can tell, it went really well. Like that's a miracle. Like a New Year's Day show, I was like, I'm never going to get a New Year's Day show. It's not going to happen. It's going to be impossible. It's like, why they gave like the day, they gave me the day after Christmas, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day. I was like, really? 3 of the hardest dates to book a show in the entire friggin' universe. But yeah, that show I think went really well. Did it not?
What do you call it? Honestly, there weren't as many people there because it was New Year's Day, and the venue was 21 plus, which we personally don't like. However, we know that some people prefer 21 plus, and the show went really well, all things considered. The crowd that was there was all everyone was excited and happy to be there, and I think that's what matters.
That's the main thing right there. It's creating that atmosphere in that community where even if it's not a lot of people, it's the people that are there for the same purpose. And that matters more to me than having a lot of people there for the wrong purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. We have a photographer, like a local photographer, that I'm sure Negative Rex and RBX told you about, or showed you the photos that he took. He is incredible, and he will like travel to our shows. Our shows go up and down through the Carolinas, everywhere, and he'll drive and he'll figure it out. He'll take some sick, nasty photos of the bands.
Yeah, I saw them. They were great. They were fabulous.
Yeah, he's incredible. Would die for the photographer we work with. He's Humans Unscripted on everything. Or
I think it might just be Bridger Swimmer because that one got. I think it's Humans Unscripted still.
I think he's Humans Unscripted.
I think first Humans Unscripted got shut down, but
Yeah, he kept taking nude photos and posting them, and Instagram didn't like it, but it was fine.
Well, yeah.
He actually met the vocalist of Negative Rax at a
Kev's a
guitar
great
show.
person. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about booking Axel Vita in the Carolinas, and I was
Kev does a lot of booking up here. He's been booking here for 10 years. I've only been up in the Hudson Valley now for 3 years and booking for a year and a half. And the first 3 shows I ever booked were all because of Kev. I was like, Kev, I moved here and I have friends that say they want a show, but I have no idea where to do shows here. And having met you, I know that you know the spots. And he helped me with like the first 3 shows where I came to and said, look, I have Some Kind of Nightmare coming. I've got Assemble coming another night in Sticky Steve. None of those shows would have ever happened without Kev. So I always appreciate and respect him for taking some strange dude under his a wing and helping me out. So Kev's fabulous.
Yeah, awesome dude. We had a great talk about it's really one thing I always appreciate is whenever I talk to someone's been in the scene a while and like be like, oh yeah, we both like the same band, and I'm like, man, I wish I could have seen them. Then he was like, yeah, I have seen them. I met them, and I'm like, oh, jealous.
It's one of those things where every now and then I give myself shit for being 50 years old, but then I've seen a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like, oh yeah, I saw them at such and such. Like, you saw them at a space that small. It's like, oh yeah. Didn't everybody? Not just kidding.
What's the favorite band you've seen? Now I'm going to switch around and ask questions.
I don't even think I can answer that question, right? But I'll tell you the story that I was most recently telling someone. I saw Body Count, Ice-T's metal band in 1994.
Really?
In DC, the old 930 Club, where like Minor Threat and them all used to play.
Oh, I know.
Before it got big, became a much bigger venue. Like, and the part that I remember most about it was that, I don't know if you know, these sort of jackets are called starter jackets. They're very big, puffy jackets related to either a football or basketball team. And it's cold, it's wintertime, and their coat check there is limited at best. So everybody is packed in there, and everybody is wearing these giant puffy coats. And it was just like, I've never forgot. Like, that was, I'll probably never see them ever again. I don't even know if Body Count's still playing or doing anything. But like, that to me was like, I can't believe I am literally here watching Body Count right now in this small ass venue. Like, Ice-T would play huge places. Body Count plays small places.
It's crazy. Are you familiar with Geese?
Yes, yeah.
I saw Geese at a venue they were booked at when they were a lot smaller, and then they went on the tour. They blew up and went on tour. However, they booked the venue before they were that big, and the venue held 300, and there were 500 people in there.
That's rad stuff. Yeah, some of the favorite shows I booked are like when I'm like I undersell a spot. Like I did Big D and the Kids Table like a year ago at a spot that only holds like 160, and they normally play to like 400 to 500 people. But it was great for like to have such a small intimate show with them versus having it like, you know, with a 5 foot high stage sort of thing. So for those of us that could get into the show, I mean, I think they did 3 dates like that in Boston. They did a whole like small venue tour, and they tried to make sure they played multiple dates so that people could go see them if they couldn't get into the first show.
That's sick. That's really nice, actually.
So you mentioned shows all over the state of North Carolina and South Carolina. Am I correct that you said that? Am I hearing you?
Well, okay, we've done Wilmington. We're getting into North Carolina. We're breaking in slowly.
I played Wilmington once.
Yeah? Where at?
Yeah, and then I lost my bass player at South of the Border afterwards, so.
Like lost completely, or like did you find him?
We played Wilmington. We drove to South of the Border on our way to Chattanooga. I don't know. It's the old days with maps, so that's how we, it might be a faster way now. My wife and I were in the van with 2 other people. Her and I got out of the van to go check out the touristy crap. And we got back in the van and we drove off heading to Chattanooga. 4 hours later, we get a phone call from a payphone. And my wife's like, hey. And it's our bass player, Ian, going, hey. It's like, Ian, why are you calling us from the back of the van? We had a big, 12 passenger van. We thought he was asleep in the back row. Apparently he got out to use the bathroom, but he He told the guitarist who was laying in the middle row, but he was passed out. So he didn't tell us, and we didn't check, and he left his phone in the car. So he was calling collect to his wife in DC for hours, trying to get her to get our number because he didn't have it memorized to tell us to come back. So we had to go 4 hours back to go get him. So yeah, we lost him south of the border. So that's what I remember about Wilmington, North Carolina.
Where'd you play in Wilmington?
We're talking like 2003. You're asking me to remember something that specific.
Was it Reggie's?
I can't remember anything. I remember they recorded us, and that's when we started putting a 2-drink maximum before we get on stage because we did not play as well as we thought we did. That's where you like went and you listened to the CD. I was like, oh, we're off key. Oh, we're off tempo. It felt so great last night. We would have been like, fucking great night, everybody.
We did it!
And then we listened, it was like, no. Oh, no. The energy was probably there, but the music,
Yeah,
I can't remember. I mean, that's 23 years ago, 22 years ago. It's a long time ago.
I don't blame you.
No, that's fair. There's this one band who I saw forever ago, and the joke is we call them a straight edge band because they were most definitely not, and so we were like, oh yeah, this whenever like a band like because all my roommates are in bands, and whenever they were like, oh, that was such a bad practice, we were like straight edge during it. And it's like because nothing sounds in key. The most notable thing about that band was that the bassist wouldn't stop playing the entire time even when the vocalist was trying to talk to the crowd. Like he'd be like, hey guys, buy our merch, and bassist would be like, don't. Yep. He like threw something at the bassist to get him to stop playing, and he kept playing still. Like
I love it.
It's good.
You know what? It was good. It was Larva. That was the band.
Do you attend every show you book?
Yes.
Right? Because I booked tours. It was like, oh, are you going on tour with the bands? I'm like, I booked 4 tours this year. How am I going to go on the tour with 4 different bands and also keep my own job and my wife and kids and everything else I'm doing? I can't just go riding around with bands. But like, because I'm big on this. Like, I did 35 shows last year in my area, and I was only absent for 2. And I have a great backline support staff of wonderful people like Savannah and Des and Arsenic and Willie who can run it for me, but I hate not being there. So you're at every show you do.
Zoe unfortunately can't be because she's in Pennsylvania, but every time we're both here, we're both at every show. I run sound for nearly every show that I do. And so I kind of have to be there.
Sure.
However, we're having our first show, not this weekend, but next weekend, where I double book shows that weekend because the band was on tour and they were like, we really need this date. I'm like, I can help you. And that'll be the first show that I book that I won't be at. So
how do you feel about that?
Honestly, I have it in hands of people I really trust, so it'll be exciting. Because I told you that I'm sitting on a PA right now because there's another venue in Columbia, which I'm currently trying to set up because I bring my own PA to most shows. Got it off Facebook Marketplace. It works great. Sounds better than a lot I've heard. But the issue is we can't run shows unless I'm there. And I wanted to have a way to run shows when I'm not there because Columbia is a 2-hour drive for me, 3-hour drive from us in Myrtle. And if a band needs like a weekday, there's no chance of getting there. So it's helping out by like setting up more places that we can kind of book at without having to be in person there. Because I love being in person at shows, but if the community needs the show on the date and I can't be there, I don't want that to be the deciding factor.
And I do the same thing. Like I have a band coming through that needed Memorial Day weekend, and my wife's like, I'm pretty sure we're going to go out of town that weekend. So I went to Des and Savannah from Poison Paradise Rec, and I'm like, Des does all my sound. Savannah might as well be like my event, or if I paid her, she'd be my event manager, but I do not pay her. I should pay her. You deserve it, Savannah. I'm sorry. I can't afford it. But she can run a show like fucking no one's business. So like, I'm like, hey, I'm going to book this show. I'm going to hire Des for sound. If I can't make it, I'm going to need you to be able to do it for me. Like, yeah, we got you. So like, I get it. Sometimes, because I don't want to say no to the touring band. Like they need help. It's Cam girl from North Carolina. I brought them up here once before, and they're phenomenal. So I hate turning down and not helping people, but at the same time, I've had to learn to say no when like my bandwidth can't take it. So
Yeah.
I would unpack at least 2 or 3 things that you said there. Like, so you're working sound at the show.
Yes.
So do you have, like, when I first moved up here, I was doing the sound, providing the backline, working the door, also setting up my merch table for my record label, and also doing all the like, hey, here's the artist coming in, here's your drink tickets, here's this, here's that. Please tell me you have some support beyond that, because if you're working the sound and doing all that, I know how hard that was. So, like, do you have reliable volunteers, helpers, scene people that are like there to make sure that things run smooth?
I will give you multiple answers to that. So, yes, I always have someone doing doors. I have a couple people who consistently do doors. Like if I have a show in Columbia, we have a friend named Gio, and if there's a show in Columbia, I don't even have to ask. He's there, and he's like, "All right, I'm sitting at the table doing my thing." For other shows, Zoe will also do doors, be like the people person while I'm trying to set up the PA, and one of my speakers is turning on or something. So we're very good at. We usually try to tag team shows, but when it's only me here, I have a good couple of friends who I can assign to working doors or like running around grabbing things. I have this one friend, Alana, who will have help me with shows in Clemson, and every time we'll get in the car afterwards, and I'm like, "Thank you so much for helping." She's like, "What did I do?" And I'm like, "I spent the entire show like yelling, like, go get me an XLR, like go like help the band load their like tuba in." And
People don't realize how much help they have. Like Willie and Al, they're a great duo, great partners. Willie tends to work the door because Al doesn't do numbers. And Al just does whatever I ask Al to do. Al, I need you to help the sound guy carry this stuff in. Al, can you set up the merch table? Al, I need you to go do this. And there might be hours where I ask Al to do nothing. But then when I need them to do something, I'm like, just knowing that they're there, waiting for me to say I need help with this. It's amazing.
And that's one thing with Zoe here is that so I am an awful graphic designer. I made one good design in my entire life. It was our logo, and then I kind of stopped
I
there.
also suck at it, so yay to those of us that suck. I steal X-Men covers. That's pretty much all I do.
Zoe's absolutely incredible.
Fuck yeah.
Nearly every single poster we have has been made by Zoe. The one for the RBNX show was made by Zoe, and she'll be like, "Oh, I didn't do that much," and I'm like, "I wouldn't be able to do this without you."
Flyers matter. That imagery matters. It sets the tone. It attracts the eye. I have like 3 or 4 people that I do like flyers with because I do enough shows that I try and rotate it out to people so I don't overuse people. But I love it when people say fucking kick-ass flyer, lit flyer. That flyer slaps. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, it does. Like, yeah, we know. Yeah. That's why I pay for it.
And
not
and
a
also,
lot, mind you, because they're punk rockers. They never take for over like $30. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm getting this fucking quality art that I would hang in my house for $30.
I have them hung in my
they're hung in the house.
They're hung in the house. I've run out of space.
Mm-hmm.
I also have. So the other thing is that having someone there who even if they aren't really doing anything physical or like like not physically caring, so you're not physically working doors, having someone there you can like as like a support, just as a support means like the world, especially when you're doing 5,000 different things at once and you have a band saying they're going to be there after music starts, and another band that's like, hey, our amp isn't working, do you have an amp we can borrow? And I don't borrow.
In April, I bought a full back line because I got tired of trying to coordinate the sharing of stuff. And I don't trust other bands. Like, oh, yeah, we're going to backline the drums, and then they don't show up at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We had the biggest failure of a show that we ever did was an emo night show, which we had a bunch of big emo bands from the state. It was going to be huge. It was like just off of like shares on the Instagram.
It was our most shared. It was our most shared flyer we had had.
So
yet.
you were like, this is going to be the fucking busy bomb. It's going to like be
Yes.
off the hook, off the chain, whatever the kids call it today.
And
it was going to happen.
This is the reason I got a PA system, because another band's back on PA, and I'm like, awesome. Like, awesome. They're back on everything, amps, kit, literally everything. And it was an outdoor venue. It was a covered stage. So we get there, and the forecast said it wasn't going to rain. It was going to be a little drizzle for an hour. I was like, I'm not worried. We get there, they set up, and the guy's like, by the way, I'm going to live record this. And I'm like, okay, it's a lot for doing outside. I personally wouldn't. You can go for it. Because of his whole like live rig, like a digital mixer, it's like a studio thing. It's a whole like.
I do live recordings. I understand.
It was one of the Behringer ones you connect to your iPad. I don't remember the exact number, but it was one of those. He had 57s everywhere. He's like nice condensers over the kit, and like for like a outdoor emo show, that's too much. They're doing too much for that. I always tell bands that if they want a mic kit, they can bring their own PA, because I'm not doing it. You don't need to mic a kit as much. But we get there, they set everything up, and then it starts drizzling. I'm like, okay, it's fine. We'll huddle under the covered areas until it stops. It starts raining harder, and there was a leak in the roof, and I was like, oh no. I was like, let's get all this like equipment covered. And the sound guy who was in the van was back in the kit and the amps panics, packs everything into the van, and they drive away. And then the worst part is the rain stopped 30 minutes later. Before doors were even supposed to open.
Shut the fuck up.
So the show had to be
packed up their shit and left.
Yep, show had to be canceled. All the other bands were still there just waiting. Keep in mind, we had no kit, we had no bass amp, we had guitar amps, because all the bands were on guitar amps. We had no bass amps, no kit, one microphone, because I bought a microphone.
What?
And yeah.
Couldn't they just put their stuff in the van and let the rain stop and then bring it back out?
That's what I said, but the guy was not, he was not very nice about it either. And that's why I decided the next day to buy my own PA. And now the show can't not go on.
So you understand.
Yeah.
Des, who does my sound, he has never not come to a show. He has never not been on time. He brings his PA and he brings like the subwoofers and stuff. But bands were not reliable to like provide equipment. So I was like, I already owned a drum set because I'm a drummer. So I bought 2 used guitar cabs and a bass cab. I'm like, done. And then I run into the issue of like, people are like, oh yeah, I want to use your backline, but I don't have guitar heads. I play out of a combo. It's like, then bring your combo amp. It's small. Like the backline is for bands from New York City that don't want to haul their stuff down 3 flights of stairs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I get it. So Zoe, you're in Pennsylvania?
I am.
Are you working, college, just living a free life, living your best life? What are you doing there?
College. I go to school up in the mountains. Don't ask me how I got here. I kind of blacked out.
What part of where are you in Pennsylvania? If I can ask, where in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, northwest, kind of up by Erie a bit.
Okay.
I'm not too far from New York. Probably like half an hour, honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Probably not too far. So, have you looked into doing shows in your area?
Yeah,
like you all could expand beyond the Carolinas into the Pennsylvanias.
Yeah, that's the hope. We're trying to get a bit more national with it. We're trying to get around, because we started because South Carolina really doesn't have a consistent booking thing.
Yes.
There's a group called Myrtle Beach Shows who book, as the name implies, in Myrtle Beach.
Yes. Which I played there a couple times with the Independents over the years.
Okay.
Yeah.
He says that he really would love to book elsewhere, but he's kind of stuck there with the name.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. My name is
Charleston.
DC, and I'm not from DC anymore. It's fine.
Yeah.
What about Geared 4? Like, Geared 4 used to help me all the time in Charleston. Rick.
Geared?
Right.
So
Rick Burke.
Geared, those guys are Billy Bats actors, right?
Yeah. Yes, I'm putting out Billy Bats' live record coming out here in a little bit.
I will definitely be hitting you up for that. I love Billy Bats. I almost worked for them. Then we're planning a show with them. So I know Geared 4 I've emailed with.
Rick used to book all the shows in the world, and now he just focuses on Billy Bats. That's all he does. Every
Really?
now and then if I say, Rick, come on, dude, I really need something.
Mm-hmm.
But he's very busy. He's got a new baby, I think, too. I was like, I love you, Rick. I'm not in any way dissing you. But I get it. Like, I had an underage band that was on tour. I was like, Rick, if there's anyone that knows where I can book a high school hardcore band from DC in the South at venues, the dude that's been booking Billy Bats for years, back when I first met them and they were like 16 years old. I know you know those spots, Rick. You have to fucking help me.
Help me.
Yeah, but back to you, like Pennsylvania. Where have you go to shows? Like, what's the scene like where you're at?
I frequented the Pittsburgh scene a bit, and it's really interesting seeing the differences between the northern scene and the southern scene.
Yeah?
The northern scene is old as shit, I gotta say. Yeah, the northern scene, it's like, they all know each other. They're all, like, on a first-name basis. They all show up, and it's, like, a bunch of 40-year-olds in the room. I was, like, the youngest person in the room at the shows that I've been going to.
Where have you been going, just out of curiosity? Because I book in Pittsburgh. Do you go to Pittsburgh?
Yeah. I've been to the Government Center. I've been to Roboto. I almost went to Haven. Haven just got shut down, if you're familiar.
I'm not. Have you been to 222 Ormsby yet?
I have not.
Have you heard of 222 Ormsby? Because this is the space that's for you.
I have not.
So they are an all-ages DIY space, all volunteer. When I book shows there, it costs like $100, and that's basically money for the sound person to come in and work sound. I have to find my own door person. I book all the bands myself. I mean, they have a whole like list of rules, yada yada. You can bring your own beer, but you better not be underage, etc. But it is a great DIY space. And,
hell yeah.
Like, you should look into that, because if there is one space from what, like, just talking to you all now that you would love, it's an all ages DIY space that you can pretty much do whatever the fuck you want. And whether you join the group, I think my buddy Paul, oh my God, what is the name of his like podcast? I'm such a jerk. But I know he's one of like the volunteers there. And it reminds me of a space I used to work at, volunteer at, called Trump City Art Space in Baltimore. So, but like, you could be booking there, and I'll be honest, I haven't been there, but I booked almost every tour I book bands there, and they come back telling me they love it. So, I haven't made the PGA trip yet. I'm a little bit on the more eastern side. I'm like just 2 hours west of New York City, so that'd be like a 5-hour drive for me.
Are you from? Where in Hudson Valley are you from?
So I'm in the Kingston area. So it's basically an hour south of Albany and about 2.5 hours northwest of New York City. Other big cities are like Poughkeepsie. There's New Paltz. Technically, I live right outside of Woodstock.
So
technically
speaking,
because I'm from Cortland Manor.
I don't even know where that is.
It's right next to Westchester.
That I know.
Yeah.
I've only lived in this area for 3 years, and I'm DC born and bred. Lived in Florida for like 15 years, and that sucked because I taught social studies there, and they hate social studies in Florida. So, and I'm up here getting my PhD in Albany, but my wife hates Albany, so I live in the middle of nowhere where bears break into our cars. So, and I'm like, this is where I'm going to put on punk rock shows, in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
Listen, that's where the best ones are.
That's where the best ones are. When I booked tours for bands, like, I want to play Philly. I was like, fuck Philly. No offense, Philly. I love you. I would never offend Philadelphia because you're all a bunch of scary ass motherfuckers. But I would say, play Scranton. Play Allentown. Play Easton. Play some small podunk area where the kids are starving for you.
You will meet the best people at the random DIY venues.
Yes, every time.
The Boneyard,
like the Boneyard. I went to a show up here recently that was inside of a Teamsters union. Like the union, like the people of the union hall had like booked the show, I guess.
Yeah.
And I met somebody there that like it was like this high schooler, and I was like, "What's your name?" And they were like, "My name's Meatball." And I was like, hell yeah, like, sure. Hell yeah, you are Meatball.
Yeah,
like,
Meatball, let's do this.
Yeah, fuck it up. And they were good. They were good at moshing. They had great energy. They were, like, helping out with a bailout fund. And I was like, this is the type of shit you want to see.
Yeah. I forget, it was like, there was some run RBNX was on, and I needed a day because something had fallen through. And I booked them at a vape shop in Dickinson. That's
Sure.
not really a vape shop. But since then, like, there's a bunch of shows that are going on there. I guess the owner manager is just like fucking hardcore and punk rock. And he's like, yeah, I'll just have a whole area people can set up. And there's circle pits going on. I don't vape. I don't endorse vaping. But hey.
Wait,
Who cares?
I don't care.
The best energy at a venue. So the venue that we look at the most in Colombia is a Puerto Rican restaurant.
Fuck yeah.
And
Restaurant is also a strong word. It is like a shack on the side of the road that sells a really fucking good empanada.
they have $2 empanadas.
I'm not going to mock that. I'm going to say I wish I had one.
They're $2. They're the best empanadas I've ever had. The reason why they book shows is because the nephew of the owner, or great nephew, I don't know, so it's all family run, just loves hardcore. Like he's got all of his moves down. He'll be like he'll like go and like, yeah, I saw like Sanguia Sugabog last week, like death metal hardcore beat down his whole thing, and he's like, guys, I have hardcore shows here. And now it's just my favorite spot to book. Like you said, I throw them $100. They make triple that in beer sales, and they don't care what we do.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it, right? So how do you decide which shows to do? Like, I reached out to you at random. I got your contact, I believe, from Triangle Fire, who are
I love Triangle Fire.
people. And was it that referral that made you give me the time of day, or do you... Because I get a lot of requests, and it's really hard to sift through everything and be considerate and thoughtful. And I actually have I have kind of almost a form response when I can't do it. Like, I can't help you for X reason. Here's 3 other local promoters, and here's my spreadsheet of promoters throughout the whole area. I wish I could be of more help. And most of them, they're like, oh, that's amazing. I was like, yeah, because I can't help everyone.
Mm-hmm.
What draws you to help someone? Is it the music, the people, the referral, your time, all of the above?
So really, the reason why we chose to help you is because it sometimes feels like in South Carolina, at least, it's kind of we're the only ones who are. There's not really 3 other bookers I can refer you to who I can guarantee will get you a show. There's Myrtle Beach shows, however, they're booked super far out. There's a couple independent bookers in Columbia. There's a couple in Greenville. But if a band's like, hey, we're on tour and we need a spot in South Carolina, I feel that I'm pretty sure Zoe agrees with me on this, that we have the best chance of getting them a show. So when you're like, hey, we need this date, I'm like, that's kind of a hard date. If anyone can get you a show, it'll be us. And plus, you sent me the band and I like their music.
Heck yeah. They are good bands, right?
And they're good bands. I saw this slide guitar, and I was like, whoa, I've never seen that before.
Yes.
And so I was like, I got to get these guys on the show. But yeah. Go.
If you also like check any touring flyer for any band ever, it doesn't matter the genre, it doesn't matter anything. You'll see the big list of all the names, and it'll go like Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida. Like, they will always skip South Carolina without fail.
We're trying to change the fact that bands always skip South Carolina, because they always do. Every band that I've wanted to see in the past year, I've had to go to a different state to see them.
You gotta go to Atlanta. Like, you go...
Atlanta, Asheville, sometimes even Charlotte.
I get that, right? Because, like, I grew up in D.C., so everything came through. Between Baltimore, D.C., and Richmond, I never had a problem. Maybe I had to go to Philly sometimes, but very rarely. Then I moved to Orlando. People come to Florida, but nobody ever wanted to come central. They always did the coast. Oh, we're going to hit down, we're going to come down, we're going to hit, like, St. Augustine, go down to Miami, come up, hit Tampa, then go west out to Pensacola or something like that. No one ever came inside. So I get what you're saying. It's like people don't go into your state.
Hmm. and we'd like people to because we got a good scene here.
Yeah, no, I've never had a non-good time in South Carolina, but I think I'm pretty sure the only cities I've ever played were Charleston and Myrtle Beach. I'm not sure I've ever been to Columbia.
Columbia is probably the best hardcore and punk scene in the state.
Yeah.
If you like deathcore, which neither here nor there, that's deathcore beatdown's pretty big in Greenville, and a lot of shoegaze in Greenville. But Columbia is where everything at. You can go every time I book in Columbia. There's like 3 other shows that weekend. There's like New Brooklyn Tavern, which is the big venue. Then you have a bunch of DIY ones. A new one just started, and the whole thing we're trying to do at that venue is try to keep it off social media, and it's been going pretty well so far. But
okay, right.
It's
I mean,
really cool.
Having a photographer taking photos of your shows is absolutely invaluable. I've had this person in Put Over Photo taking photos of every show I've done since April.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say they've done more with their photos than anything I've done, because they post them up within like 48 hours of the show. Each band, little like captions, and it's like people are like, "Oh, that was a great show. I wish I had been there." I was like, "Yeah, it was," but I've said that for years. But man, without these photos, nobody would be saying that.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. I love Bridger takes great photos. There's also another photographer, Miguel. His Instagram handle is just Miguel, I'm pretty sure. I mean, you know how good Miguel's photos are.
Yeah. I mean, I think when we were chatting and you talked about all the people that you had that were supportive, that's one of the reasons I wanted to interview you, because knowing that you are able to build a collective of people like that, it speaks to the quality of who you are and what you're doing, because people don't come around doing free stuff and just lending their love if they're not feeling like there's a value to it. So obviously you're doing things that value, that your community values. I know I valued it, so I can't thank you enough for that.
Thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure to have them there, and hopefully next year they can run back through, not on New Year's Day, hopefully this time.
Hopefully not. And I might have some other bands coming that way. You know what killed me the most is I booked, there was their tour, and then I got another tour, this band called Shark Noises, playing Pittsburgh, by the way, at 222 Ormsby.
Oh yeah.
On a Friday or Saturday in March. So you should go. And then I booked another band called Meow Meow. And they all went different directions. One like heading west, one south, and one going up northeast. But every one of them wanted to play Philly. Mm-hmm. Everyone. And Philly is a hard-ass town to book. And I have a couple people there. I mean, I got a lot of people, but it's like, I don't like hitting up the same person over and over again. Like, if I had another band coming through in January, I probably wouldn't have bothered you again, because I wouldn't want to bother you twice in like 4 weeks.
Give me something to do. Give us.
Okay.
I like to say, whenever bands like, hey, we need this, I'm like, give me a challenge, give us something new to do, because like I try to have at least one out of state band on each bill, because it's not just a community in state, it's kind of to the whole, US worldwide punk community of you can't really grow in a vacuum, and you got to keep feeding it to get it to keep growing.
I'm exactly the same way. I do these monthly shows in Kingston and on Sundays, but I tend to have at least 2 out-of-town bands. Mm-hmm. And people are like, how do you get out-of-town bands on a Sunday show? I was like, well, the show started 4, they end at 9. If you're from Philly or New York City, you're going to get home at 1 o'clock. Who hasn't played a Tuesday night show and gotten home at 1 o'clock? So other than the extra drive, you're still getting the same amount of sleep. Mm-hmm. So, and I book 5 months out usually. So you can book a run around it if you can too. Mm-hmm. But like, it's essential to me to not just book a local band showcase. I don't know that I've ever, since I moved here especially, just had like, oh, I'm just going to do a 3 or 4 band local bands. I'm like, no, if I'm going to do it, it's because I'm helping bring a band up here, or I'm helping a band on tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe we've done any shows where it's been entirely local bands. I think we've always had at least one out of town band.
The first show was all local.
No, Lunchbox was from North Carolina.
Fuck. Never mind.
Fuck. It's still a Carolina. It almost doesn't count.
Yeah, like, or Carolina. Like, is there really a difference?
I'm trying to think.
People in Carolina would say there are.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived in Northern Virginia, and we definitely thought the rest of West Virginia was different. Heck, we thought the rest of Virginia was different. We wanted to secede from the rest of Virginia because we were Northern Virginia, and we were not the same.
You said Richmond. You've been around the Richmond scene, you said?
Whole bunch.
I have a couple friends who moved up there, and I almost went up there to see Life. I think it was Life and No Fucker who played there.
Fuck yeah.
And there's Japanese crust, which in case you can tell me, I'm sure I love Japanese crust. And they were playing up there, and I had a bunch of friends and like, yeah, you got to come up to the Richmond scene. And I'm like, it's on like Tuesday. I can't drive to Richmond on a Tuesday.
It's always like that. Like, I want to do it, but I can't always make it happen. My body just says no.
You should tell the Pigeon Pit story. I feel like the Pigeon Pit story is the Denounce Normalcy story.
Oh, well, then I need to hear the epitome of Denounce Normalcy. Lay it on us.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Pigeon Pit?
I am unaware. I am like sitting here just open to hearing and absorbing what you have to share because I know nothing.
So Pigeon Pit is a big folk punk band. We both love folk punk.
I love folk punk.
It's the absolute rawest version of punk. You can't market it, can't sell it. I love it. Pigeon Pit have been around for a while. They played NPR's Tiny Desk a few years ago.
Fuck yeah.
And I personally love them. Zoe, I forced her to listen to them until she started loving them. And and they were going on tour and they were playing in Atlanta. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll drive to Atlanta to see them. And one of the reasons why I was excited you reached out to us is because I have a habit of cold emailing bands who want to play with us or bands in areas I want to like have connections in to try to expand our network. And one of those bands was Pigeon Pit. I sent them like a cold email and DM like forever ago. So I was like, why not? Worst thing you can do is not reply.
Give it a whirl. Fucking A, go for it.
And they posted on their story about, I think it was a month before their Atlanta date. They're like, hey, who approached us about booking in South Carolina forever ago? And I started up in the store. I was like, hey, I think that was us. I'm not sure though. And they're like, yes, it was. Can you help? And then we started messaging over email for a bit, and we started like texting, and it was the most rush job ever done. I usually try to get like 3 months on shows, and I booked in a week. I was able to get them a venue in South Carolina, in Columbia. We got everything up and done in like, it was under 2 weeks. Zoe made a whole like handmade scrapbook poster for it. And the entire time I was just ecstatic. It was like probably my favorite band was like messaging me about booking them. And we got it. It was a backyard show, and we got it. We figured out. We learned how to sell tickets for a show at that show. We did not know beforehand. I think we used Ticket Leap for it.
The thing about the Pigeon Pit story that is so special to me is that we have a graveyard of cold replies that have gone nowhere. We have like an email list miles long of like, hey, if you ever want to come to South Carolina, let us know. And they posted on their Instagram story.
Yeah.
Being like, hey, someone reached out to us, and we'd also reached out to them like 2 months earlier.
Yeah.
A Miami date had fallen through, and we had like a month to book an entire show, like with nothing. And it happened, and it was great.
Shows are the hardest.
We made it work,
but it happened.
It made it work, and that was probably, to answer my own question, the best show that I've been to. Because I was sitting there after talking to a band that I had listened to nonstop for forever and loved, and was booking them, and I was sitting right front and center because it sounded great. So I walked through the mixer, front and center, huge push fit around me, I was like watching like this is like my favorite song ever, and it was amazing. And the best part was we were as grateful for them as they were for us for setting it up, and it was they were so lovely.
That's
Um,
wonderful.
and like the whole 9 yards of it was we found a place to stay for 2 nights because they needed 2 nights because they had like a break. We found them, you know, at the venue. Uh, they asked for like stage monitors, which we didn't have at the point. So I went out and got Facebook Marketplace stage monitors and fixed them up because they weren't working. And we made it. We made it all work, and it turned out amazing.
Awesome. Do you normally give people places to stay? Is that normally something you try and offer?
Yeah, we do try to offer that. We didn't. We would have to RBNX and Rack, so we didn't have anywhere in Charleston.
No, it's all good. Before I had kids, I offered people to stay pretty much every show when I was in my 20s, to the point where, you know, I moved to Florida and now I'm back up northeast again, and like I was at Camp Pennsylvania. This guy walks up to me, I was like, "Hey Scott, what's up?" I was like, "I'm sorry, do I know you?" He was like, "Yeah, I was roadieing for Common Enemy. I slept on your floor one day." I was like, "You did?" He's like, "Yeah, I was 200 pounds heavier then." I was like, "Okay, rad, nice to meet you." Then I played a show in Philadelphia with my band. This guy's like, "Hey, I stayed at your apartment in DC." I was like, "Oh, you must be Void Control. That's my band that stayed there." Then I brought this band Jalen up from Philly to play Troy or Albany area. And the guy was like, "Hey, you're Scott from the Overprivileged, right?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm Steve. I was in the Ghouls. I slept under your dining room table." I was like, "Yeah."
Sure.
Like, I literally, like, for the last 2 years, have been, like, recollecting people that have slept on my house.
It's really funny because the thing is, we book in Columbia a lot, and we don't live in Columbia, obviously, and so it's kind of asking which of our friends will house us and also like 5 other people for a night. Hey, listen, like it's like, hey, listen, can we crash? They're like, sure, you know, you're our friends. We have a couch. You guys can like one of you sleep on the floor. And like, we also have a 7-piece ska band that needs a place to stay. Is that okay too?
Can you sleep 9?
Most of the time it works. There was one time where I had a band from Boston that I knew, and they were on tour with a band from Germany, and they both needed a place to stay. So it's like 10 people. And then there were a bunch of roadies, and it was like 15 people, and the cops kept showing up, and the Germans were just yelling at the cops. It was a very rough evening for me. I was like, okay, that was kind of my limit, because I had to, back then I was managing a coffee shop and literally had to be at work at like 5 a.m.
Lovely.
And so I left them alone in my house. It could have been
Just
better.
let them run rampant. Just.
I mean, I knew the band from Boston, and I'm sure they were fine.
It worked out.
That
For
was
the most part, yeah.
Eventually.
There were some things that I wish hadn't gone the way they went, but it is what it is. Lessons learned.
it
Lessons
was
learned, right?
yeah, we it was about a month ago now. We had a band from Georgia come up and play a show at the new venue I was telling you about, and we were all crashing in the same place. And so it's a band. They're called Twig and Leaf. So we're like, oh, it's a duo. Of course, it's Twig and Leaf. And I'm like, yeah, we can totally have it. You know, it's 2 people. It was 4 people. So it's Twig and Leaf. So the joke was it was Twig, and then Leaf.
Yeah.
And because I told people we were staying, I was like, hey, 2 more people. I'm like, yeah, we can get 2 more people. I'm like, oh, it's actually 4 people. I'm like, oh, that's fine. Okay, it's actually 6 more people because we had friends like, hey, can we just crash? I'm like, and then it was actually like 8 more people, and then it was 9 people, and then it was 9 people and a dog and a cat because the band had a dog and a cat with them.
And then a girl was sleeping in her van, and she was like, "Hey, can I park my van outside of your place?"
It was a folk rock show, so of course there's someone sleeping in the van who's playing, and then she's like, "Can I come and take a shower?" And then she ended up sleeping on the floor there too. So it was like 10 people plus us.
Okay, that's... Yeah, see, that's where it gets like... There's a certain
lot.
point where it's like... And I've stayed at people's homes, and I've always been polite. I think I played a show once in Columbus, Ohio, and we stayed at this house of the promoter, And I think his parents like literally like bought the house for him and his friends to live in while they were in college.
Sure.
And it was this big, gorgeous house.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got there, all I wanted to do was crash. I was so tired. And instead, some like death metal band set up and started playing. I was like, oh, this is not working well for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't party. I was like, we had an 8-hour drive the next day. It was like I just need to go to the van. I went to the van to sleep, and I slept for like maybe an hour. Then I woke up to chainsaws, and people were like chopping down trees, and then explosions. They were throwing aerosol cans into like garbage fire pits, and I'm like, holy fuck! All I want to do is sleep. And I was like, I know I'm supposed to party because I'm on tour, but I'm 36 years old and I just want to sleep.
Yeah, there's been so many times where like there's like, oh, there's afters, and I'm like on like a Friday show and a Saturday show, and I'm like, I'm just tired. Like
Yeah.
it's like I'm like, I don't have energy to like party right now. Like, let me go to bed.
There's just no after sometimes. Like I vended and sponsored a show on Saturday this weekend. Then I had a show on Sunday. Then I got up, went to work on Monday. And on Monday night, it was my buddy Des who does the sound. It was his birthday, so I went to his house. We're having dinner. And it's like 10 o'clock at night. He's like, you up for a movie? I was like, I love you, dude.
No.
Oh, I swear to God, if I had to sit down and watch a movie, even one that I love, I'm going to pass out in like 15 minutes. And I have like a 45-minute drive home from your house. I love you so much, but please let me go home.
Nope.
Happy birthday. Please let me go home.
Let me out of here.
That's the one bad thing about booking all over South Carolina is we do not live in Columbia, nor anywhere close to it. We're both originally from Myrtle, and so it's a 3-hour drive. So, like, show runs a little long. Like, usually show ends at 11. Show ends at 12. It's fine. It's just a 3-hour drive home. Like, after
3-hour
3 hours
drive
is a
or-
long drive.
Yeah.
You two look fairly young, but like you hit my age in 3 hours and you start going.
No, we gotta. We have a rule now that you're not allowed to sleep on the way back because you gotta keep the other person in
Yeah,
check.
keep the other person away.
It was
I mean,
actually
how do you promote a show that's 3 hours away? Like, I'm still like, and it may be because I'm old, right? Like, I still hang up flyers and posters everywhere. Like, I mean, I can see the potential of mailing posters to the venue, even though we all tried, and half the time they never get there, or they claim they never got them. Like, is it all just social media, or do you have like a street team, or do you depend on the local bands? Like, how do you promote shows when you're booking from so far away?
so the way that I'll do it is because we have so many shows in Columbia. We have a show in Columbia next weekend, Valentine's Day show. Great, it's on a Saturday this year, and then the weekend. 2 weekends later, we have another show in Columbia. So I'm going to when I go to Columbia next weekend, I'm going to bring all the flyers with me and then go to all the record stores around Columbia, go to like the main street.
You're there often enough that you just flyer when you're there. No,
Yeah.
that makes
Also,
sense.
if I'm like, won't be there for a month, that's a month of time people can see the flyers for.
See,
If
that's
social-
where I get into my struggles because, like, you booked all the bands and you were great. But every now and then I book a tour, I will literally get even a promoter that says, okay, I got the spot. Can you book all the bands? I'm like, I don't know the scene. Why am I booking all the bands?
Mhm.
And I'm the one that's sending the band's flyers to pass out. I was like, why is there a promoter if I'm doing all of this? I do
Yeah.
not understand. Like, why am I booking all the bands, starting the group chat to discuss the show, and why am I the one mailing the poster to the venues and the record stores? I don't understand. Who's the promoter here?
That's the thing is, so I struggle to define what we are like booker, promoter, because like every time I say I'm a promoter, you're like, oh, okay, so like you're really bad at your job. Like saying you're a promoter is like,
Oh, no, yep, no, I get it. I get the same thing.
and I'm like, no, I like I'm driving to go, do all my things, and I put up all the posters everywhere, put up, talk to everybody, tell everybody like what to do on site, doing sound stuff.
I don't even pay myself,
Mhm.
right? Like, I guarantee all the bands a minimum, and then we go to percentage if we get past the minimum. And only when we go to percentages do I pay myself. And even if I do, it doesn't count for the cost I spend in printing posters and flyers, and I feed every band that comes through.
That's
Nice.
And I make sure there's vegan and gluten-free options if necessary as well. So like, I lose money every show that I do. But my general theory is like, well, there's bands from 4 hours away. If I'd driven 4 hours to see them, got a hotel room and driven back, it would have cost me $100. So if I lost $100,
I would have spent it anyway.
exactly. But I didn't have to drive. I went to drive 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm building community in a scene, so it's okay.
I'm gonna steal that justification because I've actually never thought about it like that. I'm like, well, it's just for the scene. But you know what? Yeah, I would have spent $100 to go see this band if they were.
Yeah. You've driven 3 hours to see a band. If you can bring them to you instead, even if it's 3 hours away, like that's a benefit. Or like, I told my wife, like how much money my record label lost last year. She's like, well, I guess if you're one of those guys that went on golfing trips, you would have spent about as much money. So your business lost as much money as you would have been if you were like a golfer. I was like, well, I'm not a golfer.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
Count your blessings.
But people ski. People, go to like 20 baseball games or whatever. So yeah, I lose money, but I'm doing something that has value. Mm-hmm. It kind of goes back to like when I was like 16 or 17, I did my first 3-day run. My dad's like, did you make any money? Scott was like, Dad, every night I played with bands I would have paid to go see. Every night I played and people watched my shitty ass punk band. Every night I stayed at some stranger's house that fed me food. One night I even met a cute girl who I got to know. And it was fabulous.
That's all you can ask for.
That's all I could ask for, right? And I got gas money every night. You went skiing for 3 days. How much money did you make, Dad?
Dad, come on.
I didn't spend any money. Like I literally got enough money to get to each spot every day.
That's all you need.
I came back I toured Europe, same thing. I think I came back $1,000 light. But I toured Europe. I was in Slovakia.
Like,
it cost me $1,000 to be in Europe for 3.5 weeks.
That's like
nothing.
If you're like going on vacation to Europe and you spend $1,000 on a 3-week vacation in Europe, you got a good deal.
Yeah, that's all I was down after a flight there, flight back, and touring there for 3.5 weeks. I had lost $1,000
for a month.
Yeah,
for a month. That's crazy.
I actually had a similar conversation with my parents, and I was talking to them how I was planning I don't know. We're still working on the kinks of it, but I'm planning a tour for a band, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, you're gonna make a lot of money off that." I'm like, "No." But I get to like go see parts of the country I haven't seen before. I get to like, I'm going on vacation, and hopefully I won't lose money doing it.
Well, and it's fascinating. Like you mentioned, like I've been booking tours for bands for free, and now bands have gotten to the point where they're insisting on paying me. Mm-hmm. It's still not a lot of money, but I find the thank you of the small amount of money kind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
but like I'm not making a business out of this in the sense that it actually is like sustainable.
No,
I would have to book like 200 tours a year for it to be sustainable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It allows me to buy some comic books.
We run because we still do patches and printing and everything. We still do clothes and band merch. We're working on shirts for a band right now. Like we do pins, we do the whole 9 yards. And so we have a bunch of designs that I'll vend I'll vend right beside doors, and I'll be like, buy a shirt on your way in, and guarantee we will make as much money selling shirts as we do from actually booking the entire show.
Yeah.
And then all of the money that we, without fail, nearly every time, all of the money we make from those t-shirts goes to like buying like, oh, we gotta get a record. Like
every record I press and sell, the money just goes into the next record. I was vending at shows this week and I probably pulled in $150, but I'm only charging $10 for my shirts. That cost $9.95 to make.
Yeah.
Like I'm not making a profit. I'm just taking that money and using it to do the next thing.
That's pretty much the best way to do it, because you see these bands with like $40 t-shirts, and of course they're making
that.
But like I'm not buying a $40 t-shirt.
Fuck no, I'm not.
If I see a t-shirt, it's a shitty print, but it's $10, and like I can tell the guy made it by hand, I'm getting 5 of those.
I was just talking to some bands about their albums. I was like, look, I'm putting things as $19.95 now online. Like, why only $19.95? And I was like, I used to charge $25, but then you throw in $5 for shipping. And then you have taxes on top of that, $2, $3, depending on the state and county they live in. And you're asking someone to pay $30, $33 for a record they're not going to get for 2 or 3 weeks. They can go to their local record shop and drop $22 and walk out and listen to it right then.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a hard ask. And it was maybe easier a couple of years ago, but with people, in my mind, people are struggling. They're feeling the affordability like crunch right now.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather make less money and make sure the records are moving and the bands are getting heard versus me going, you know what? No, I'm going to sell 10 of those records and I need that extra $5 because if $50 is going to break me, if that's my do or die, then I'm in the wrong business and I shouldn't be doing this.
All of our shows are pay what you can.
Not a laugh?
Yep,
yeah, not off.
I mispronounce it every time.
I think it's not. There's an F in there somewhere.
Yeah, no turn away for lack of funds. It's
Yep.
Every time without fail. A bit with me is I always say bring a trinket or something. Come give us a little object. I got a deer vertebrae one time.
I don't know if you got paid deer vertebrae one time.
Yeah, like I got paid in like 2 quarters and a nickel.
I find it's helpful because like the bands want to see people there. That's what they want. And if I told a band, if I do not a fluff, and maybe you're going to get 15% less at the door, but you're going to have 15% more people watch you, which would they rather have? The right band would say they want 15% more people.
Mm-hmm.
The right band.
The right band.
And if you disagree, then this band I'm not going to book the next time.
Yeah. The thing is, I always have people message me for it's like, hey, I can't afford it. And I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'd rather have you there. Like, you only have $5. Spend the $5 and buy like a pin or something. The band will be happy you bought their pin. You get to talk to the band, and now you get a cool pin to show this band that you liked.
So, how hard was it for you? Because you're in a lot of spaces. How hard was it for you to get trusted at all these different venues? Like, did you start off with one and like, okay, we put our trust here? Because I had to do that when I moved here. I was like, hey, look, here's this one place I'm doing shows at. Here's the videos of it. If I can do this here, I can do it at your venue. You have to trust me. Like, how did you earn that trust?
So the thing is with South Carolina, because the scene is very small, I'd say, is a lot of the places we look at aren't punk venues. The first show we had to do was really hard. And I kind of had to like, we became friendly with the bookers, and if I wasn't friendly with them, I would not be able to book it. It was a friend of a friend sort of situation, and we had to listen. Like I name dropped a bunch of people when I was talking to the venue, like trying to get them to like trust me. But since then, most venues I've worked with, it's been like, hey, listen, we don't care what you do with our space, just rent it out, and if you mess it up, you won't be invited back.
Okay.
And that's like, there's definitely been more expensive venues we had to work with. Like a lot of them aren't door cut; they're kind of just like $200 to $250, something in that range. But they're easy to work with, and
yeah, I mean, most of the places I work at, they don't even take a cut of the door.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest cost I have is sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but $200 for good sound?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's an issue. I do some shows at other places where they take like 20% of the door.
That's pretty standard down here.
And I think that's, and there's a couple that do 30%, but I'm like, the venue has to exist.
Yeah.
Right? When I was in the Overprivileged in DC, my guitarist wrote a song called Fuck the Bands because we were playing this place called the Sidebar in Baltimore, and people were bitching about having to pay because they upgraded and got a sound system, and had a sound guy's like, oh, I don't want to pay the sound guy. It's like, this venue didn't decide to do punk shows because they like punk. They decided to do it because they were dying, and then it's working. But the dude is driving around with a beat-up old Honda with a bumper half falling off. He's not getting rich, but he has to pay his bills. If you can't pay his bills, then your band, who just formed 3 weeks ago, won't have a place to play. Like, the venues matter. They're not your enemy. They're part of the same ecosystem. Treat them with respect. Pay them because they deserve to exist.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It would be great if everywhere was like, if nobody needed money to exist, but they gotta pay rent. You have to pay gas. It's like
they have to make sure their bartenders get paid. They have to they have to exist. If they take a cut of the door, especially if you're doing an all ages show, an all ages straight show, and everyone walks in, you got 100 people in there, and they're all drinking waters.
Mm-hmm. They're not making.
You're
money.
making nothing. You're making nothing.
You may not be aware of this. Like in the 90s, when the straight edge hardcore scene was like really like at its peak, that's when all the big venues started charging a percentage of merch sales, taking a percentage of bands' merch. Because like I played venues where they wouldn't let us sell our own merch. The venue had a merch person that sold it, and then they took a percentage of our merch.
Mm-hmm.
And that all came because straight edge shows were like, look, I'm sorry, we're doing all these great straight edge hardcore shows, and we have 300 people in here, and we sold 300 bottled waters.
Yeah.
That's why I love
What's that?
I was saying that's why I love coffee shop shows, because there's a sober, our first shows in a sober space, and they're a coffee shop, and they can still sell coffee, and they make a ton of money on coffee because they have to buy coffee and tea. Singers buy tea for that themselves. Everyone gets coffee and tea, and they still make the amount of money they make on alcohol, but without having to be 21 plus, or without having to worry about not being able to put on straight edge shows.
Venues focus on alcohol sales, and that's how they make a lot of their money. But like you mentioned, sober places, New Year's Eve, RBNX and Negative Racks played a Kava House on New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. So they played a sober venue on New Year's Eve. I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
Fuck it up.
Because the people that are going to come to a sober venue on New Year's Eve exactly are the people you want to come to a show anyway. So like, fuck yeah, let's make this go.
Yeah.
Yeah. The people going to a Kava House on New Year's Eve to go see a punk band is like the crowd that's
it's
a good
crowd
group
you
of
want.
people. Yeah.
Right? It's like, that's the crowd I want right there.
Exactly.
Those are our people.
There's a saying I love, and it's like, keep shows all ages, because like our punk show isn't like your place to go and drink. Like, sure, like, having a bar there is great. People want to have a beer at a show. However, like, you're not there to drink. You're there to see punk bands, and you're there to dance.
The beer should be second. Not even second. It should be way down there. Like, growing up in DC, all the shows were all ages.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore, they were all ages. I'm here now, and I struggle with the fact that I do 21 and over shows. I do a lot of all ages shows too. Mm-hmm. But like, it's just the nature of the beast, like you had to do with the Purple Buffalo, right? It's like,
yeah,
I want it to be all ages, but I have to work within the system that exists at the moment where I'm at.
Yeah, if we had the choice, we do all ages shows, but that isn't always possible. We try to, if we have to, fight for 18 plus, because I mean, 21 plus, like, punk is inherently for the youth. It's for like, I was 17, 16 going to shows. There's 17, 16-year-olds. There's this band. It's a kid band. They're called Loud Disaster, very similar to Billy Bats. And I met them at a Waffle House at their Negative Approach concert, and they're like, I think, was Negative Approach 18 plus, or was it all ages, Zoe?
It was all ages, but they were like angry about it. They didn't like that there were kids there.
Yes, but
yeah,
it was a bar venue, and we saw Negative Approach, and there's these kids who were there, and we were in a Waffle House. And I was like, "Hey, I like your patch," and the guy was like, "Thank you." And we're talking, and they're like, these 17-year-old kids who are like, "Yeah, we started this punk band called Loud Disaster. We're looking for a gig," and we booked them for their first show, and they're incredible. Like, they're like circle jerks sort of sound.
Fuck yeah.
And they're in high school. Like these guys never see the circle jerks. These guys like they just know to play good music, and they're incredible. And if we didn't have a space for people who like at all ages space, they would have never found punk music. They would have never loved punk music.
I'm not sure I would have formed a band in high school if I hadn't known there were places I could play.
Exactly.
Like, the very idea is like, yeah, I'm going to play in a band, and all we're ever going to do is play like our basement and maybe one neighbor's like backyard party show every other year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's really discouraging.
It is.
But knowing that I lived in the area that I did, and I would see bands that were no older than me up on stage opening for big bands because the local promoters were always big at making sure there was local bands on the big shows. And I'm like, that is fucking great. I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's important. The I can do that is very important. It's part of the reason why, like, I try and make sure most of my shows aren't a bunch of, like, straight white cisgender dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not only am I tired of hearing that same, like, fucking storyline, but, like, I really want people in the crowd to be, like, be able to identify with the variety. Like, I have a whole thing. It's like inclusive heart-led spaces. Like, I want people to feel like anyone can get up there. Anyone.
Yeah, anyone can. We have a system where if a band comes to us and it's just not 100%. There's a couple bands been rude about it, so we can book them. But if a band's like, hey, listen, we want to play our first show, we'll throw them on a bill. Sure, you know, it's a 6-band bill, but 7's not a crowd. Zoe gets on me about how I keep booking these like 7, 8-band bills because the band's like, hey, can we bring our friends? I'm like, sure. And then we're there from like 7 p.m. to like 1 in the morning. Like, sure, you know?
People stay.
People stay.
Then it's fine.
Yeah.
You're tired, but it's fine then.
Yeah, I'm exhausted. But people are there. They're dancing. They're dancing at 1 in the morning. You know, that's all you need.
It's always that tough thing when someone's like, oh, can you add us to the bill? I'm like, so hard to do. I did it once at this one venue that I do where the music doesn't even start till 10. The venue's open till 4.
Horrible.
Oh, it was fucking awful. And I run like a really tight ship where I like put a timer up on stage, like people running a festival. Like, you got a 30-minute set. If you break,
I want to go home.
You bring a backup guitar. That's on you. Like, this is it. Like, you have this much time. 15-minute changeovers, backlines there. I was like, let's go. And I added a 5th band because there's friends of mine and a new band on tour, and they needed a show. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. I didn't get home until like 4 in the morning.
Ooh.
It was so awful. Because, the show ended like 2:30. Then I had to pack up all my gear, put it in the van, drive 45 minutes home. And I was like,
it's hell.
And I'd been there since 7 o'clock. I was like, I am a wreck. The next day, my wife's like, are you going to function today? I was like, no.
God, no.
She's like, I love that you do shows, but sometimes you do shows that don't just take you away the day of the show. You're gone the whole next day afterwards.
That was the weekend run we had of Negative, Rax, RBNX, and then we did a folk rock show the next day. I remember when we got back, we were just done.
We got back at, I think it was 4:30. I think, like, if I would have stayed up for another hour, I would have seen the sun. And I was like, I'm covered in sweat. I'm covered in grime. I've been behind the wheel. My eyes are crossing. I crashed until 1 p.m. And I was like, this is fine.
Yeah.
And that's like, I have kids. I have to get up. I have to father. I have to do stuff.
Yeah, you've got a life to live. Like,
I have a life to live. Like, I'm getting my PhD. I have work to do.
Yeah, like, you got soccer practice, and it's in, like, 2 hours.
I take my kids to acting classes and gymnastics, and I got to take them to go see whatever K-pop band is, like, doing a movie this Saturday. Like, I got shit to do.
Got shit to do.
I got shit to do.
I have changed the program that I make flyers in, because I used to make a program where it was all like nice and layered, everything was good. I'd rasterize it at the end, make it one cohesive layer, and I'd hand it over. But there's been such a consistent theme of me finishing a flyer, everything being done, and Max coming to me and being like, oh, by the way, just these 2 bands, can you just throw them on there real quick? And I'm like, it's already a 5-band bill.
I hate going to graphic artists and asking them to make last-minute changes. It kills me on the inside because I don't know how hard it is to do. But like, I also know, like, I literally, this one guy, Brendan, on the internet, I had to like, hey, I really need you to update this. The venue's changed. The other venue had like plumbing issues, yada, yada. And I need it as soon as possible because the show's in 48 hours. And he's like, I'll see what I can do. I got to take my daughter to lacrosse practice. And he somehow managed to get it done within like 3 hours. And I threw him some extra money. And he's like, you don't do this? Like, nah, dude. Like, I paid you for the flyer, but this extra hassle of changing things and I don't know. I don't, maybe it's easy. I don't know. I'm not a graphic artist. How easy is it to change stuff, Zoe?
Weird set of circumstances. Originally went to school for film and then graphic design and then video editing and then I almost went into audio design. Now I'm going for poli-sci. I've been around. I went at it like from a traditional like Photoshop angle at first, but it's been doing it a lot more like hands-on, like grassroots. I now have a program on my phone too because there's been such a trend of needing to adjust the poster last minute and like I'm not going to be home for 4 hours and we need to post this poster today. I'm doing this on the way to work. But if it gets done, it gets done.
No, it's true. So I majored in poli-sci.
Oh, we're twins.
Yeah.
Twins. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah. So my whole dissertation topic is how to use nonfiction graphic novels to engage in historical empathy for marginalized histories.
Hell yeah.
So
yeah.
Good shit.
Thank you. So, but I was a poli-sci guy that became a teacher because I got a poli-sci degree living in DC, and my wife made me move to Florida, and I said, "Fuck."
How did you? Okay, not to hate. How are you a poli-sci major and you move out of DC? Not to.
No.
What happened? What happened?
Literally, my wife and I were going to have our first kid. And our parents have divorced and remarried, and all 8 of them lived in Florida. And she said, it would be really good if we live in Florida and you're all the grandparents, and your band is recently broke up, so you can form a new band. And if you're in Florida, you can tour during the winter, during the South, and you can tour during the summer up north. And it'll give you every chance you can do all that. And I got down there, and I started getting my master's in poli-sci. And then I realized there was just no value in it if I was going to live in Orlando for the next 5 or 10 years. So I switched to a master's in social studies education, became a teacher thinking I'd have summers off to go on tour. But then I had back-to-back kids. Yeah.
It hit you. It hit you all at once.
Life just hits you. And then 2016, I was finally back on track again. And the band was starting to go, and we had a tour booked, and then the pandemic happened. Yada, yada, yada. And I was like, fuck Florida, I'm done.
Get me out of here.
I'm so done.
I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah. It
happens.
moving away from DC when you're a poli-sci major is like, why would you do that?
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know. I literally had professors that were on the Colbert Report and stuff like that. I could have had, and he's one of my closest supporters. I was like, I could have had great connections. I could have done who the fuck knows what. But then again, I'd be living there now and dealing with fucking Trump. And
yeah, so maybe it all works out.
Yeah. I would have been doged for sure.
I mean, I think that one thing that, so I originally went to school for engineering, and then I realized that I did not like engineering. I didn't want to I was really going for engineering and, the whole path, get an engineering job and then work for big defense company and make evil money. And I was like, I don't want to do that with my life. There's no world where I don't end up there because that's all the jobs they have for this. So I just I'd rather, do something I'm passionate about than do something that's a good career option.
Yes. And that's it. When I was first lived in Florida, I had a job at a law office and I made really good money, but I hated every minute of every fucking day. And I told my daughter, I was like, I took a huge pay cut because in Florida, they don't pay teachers very well.
Really? What? social studies in Florida?
They don't pay us very well.
And you get paid?
Starting pay for a teacher up here in New York is $63,000. My pay with a master's degree in Florida after over a decade of teaching was $45,000.
45? No.
Yes, $45,000 a year. And just so you know, I used to manage a Starbucks in the 90s. The 90s. I was 20 years old. I was managing a Starbucks, and I was making $38,000 plus bonuses, and then I eventually made it up to $43,000 plus bonuses. So without a college degree, in my early 20s, in the 90s, I made the same amount of money as I did with a master's degree of 10 years of teaching 20 fucking years later as a teacher. I just want that to sink into everybody. What the fuck is wrong with our world?
Yeah, and you stayed in Florida. You were in DC. Not to... I understand. It happens.
You trust me. My older kid especially, she's off getting her law degree in Buffalo, so she's all about like, I can't believe you left that, Dad. Like, she understands more and more. She's like, why would you ever leave there? I was like, I did it for family.
Which is noble and good and whatever. And, like, you want to be a teacher to, like, help the kids or whatever.
And I love teaching. Teaching was great.
$40,000 a
45? Oh, come on, don't minimize it. 45?
Yeah, you're right, that's 10% of your pay. Let me not. $5,000 a year is 10% of your...
Yes, don't take that 10% from me.
Oh, my God.
Mind you, that was what I did at the end. I started at, like, 38.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was making in the mid-80s or something when I quit my job at a law office to be a teacher.
Horrible. That's a horror story. Absolute horror story you're telling me. Absolute nightmare.
And my daughter's like, why didn't we have money when we were younger? I was like, well, let me tell you. He's like, why don't we have money now? I was like, because, well, Daddy's on a stipend now and I only make $25,000 a year. No. And I'm not allowed to work except during the summer.
Your record label, though. All the money you make.
Yes, all the money I make. Between that and promoting shows and the money I made on tours like RB and X's, I'm rolling in the dough. I'm like Scrooge fucking McDuck.
It's
like
so
DuckTales
funny.
all day long here.
It's so funny when people ask, like, oh, like, that show is really good. You must, like, have some good money now. Or, like, you must be doing great with all these shows. And I'm like, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And the bigger shows are, like, no better. It's just like, I've done shows with, like, bands like Kill Lincoln and MDC. And I'm like, I cover so much of those guarantees. I'm like,
You're not.
If I make $200 on a show like that, once again, that just covers flyers and hospitality that I covered. All I'm doing is breaking even.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. That breaking even doing something you love is far better than being rich and doing something you hate.
I love what I do. You love what you do, which is why I had you on this podcast.
Thank you.
I respect you both very much.
Thank you so much.
We respect you.
Yeah. We absolutely adored working with RBNX, Negative Racks, and you. It was absolutely lovely.
Oh, you were marvelous to work with. I was like, I didn't throw this invite out to everybody on their tour, right? Like, I'm like, okay, I'm working with different promoters. I'm like, yeah, I'm working with you. But I was like, okay. I was like, I mostly talked with Max, so I believe. I'm not sure how much you and I talked.
They do all the actual shit. I make a cute flyer sometimes.
Do not minimize your responsibility and role in this.
Yeah,
your presence here is because Max knows you're an equal partner.
She will always undervalue how much she does, and it's always like, I'm like, I wouldn't be here without you. Like, even just like I'm like sending an email, hey, is this like a professional email, or is it like he's like saying random stuff? And like,
and the thing is, as the years go on and you keep doing this sort of stuff, your roles and responsibilities will change, and some of you will do more and some of you will do less. But the important thing is it's a partnership where you care about each other. Like that comes through.
It does. At the end of the day.
I know. I heard it. I got you.
Some bullshit. Bullshit. Whatever.
Just so you know, this is the longest interview I've ever done so far.
Really?
Hey, we're yapping.
Yeah.
It's okay. We talk.
No. I mean, there's just so much to dig in. Normally, I cut it off a little bit after an hour because I don't want to take up people's time, but I had so many things to talk to you about, and I've just enjoyed it so much.
We're enjoying it.
Yeah, like I never go an hour and 30 minutes.
So part of the top secret here is part of the reason why our shows go so long is because we'll be packing up whenever we get out of here, and then we'll start talking with all the people at the show and the bands, which big group of people. Who's like, oh, this guy, it's his first show. She just moved here. She going to shows in like Virginia for a while. We're all just talking, hanging out. Like the PA's like half disassembled. The band, like the drum kit's like in 5 different places. And we're sitting there for like 2 hours. Like, oh, it's midnight. The show ended 2 hours ago.
Oh, wait.
My pack up would be so much slower if I didn't have Al, aka Arsenic, and Willie, because they'll be like, oh shit, Scott's doing that talking thing again. And they're done, and they're packing up all the stuff, and they're loading my van up. And they're like, Scott, Willie has to work in the morning. We have to go. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
That's very, very true. I'll get like, I think that when a band has work in the morning, it's for the better, because that means that they'll be like, oh, we actually have to get out of here. Like, oh, let's hang out for another 3 hours. And,
I would hang out all night long most of the time, but I'm like, at a certain point, it's like, oh, I'm done.
I have to take Max's keys at some point, and I have to be like, I'm getting in the car. Like, I will be driving away in 2 minutes. Like, whether you are there or not, you must.
I'll know it's time to go, because somebody will tap me the shoulder like, Max, keys. And I'm like, okay, we have to go.
Yeah. It's and it's just like one was like, are you ready to go yet? I'm like, no, but you are. I understand social cues. I heard the subtle cue there.
Mm-hmm.
I will pack up and leave. We're done.
Fine. And then like I'll end up just like texting the band for the rest of the night anyways. So
wow.
Yeah.
I come home and I basically go to bed usually, unless I make myself an egg white omelet.
Mm-hmm.
You forget we have a 2-hour drive home. Where
On my phone, like in high
most
school.
of my drives are no more than an hour home.
What I would give.
And I've got like Poughkeepsie, New Paltz, Kingston, Woodstock, Albany, Troy. So I have like 5 or 6 venues all in an hour.
You're reminding me of this. I went to Woodstock when I was really little. And there's I was trying to remember the name. I was asking, you went there, and it doesn't make sense without knowing it. But there was like the amazing like bakery that like won like one of those like TV baking shows, and we went to Woodstock just for them. And I was gonna ask you if you've been there, but for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of it.
Oh,
you're awful.
Holy shit! What's the fucking bakery?
You guys both can't not remember it. This is horrible.
No. Like I literally like. Hold on. I'm gonna like type the Google thing.
It was like some
bakery.
I frankly have no idea.
Yeah, I.
Is it bread alone?
What?
Bread alone?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, people love that place.
Yeah, I have not been to New York since I was 14 years old, but when I lived there, like you said Poughkeepsie, I know I've been to Poughkeepsie. I think I added an extra K in there. I think like I saw Hudson Valley Hardcore on one of the band's bios, and I'm like, Hudson Valley is where I'm from. Like that's like it was mind blowing for me. Like, Peak Skill?
I've not been there, to be honest with you.
No, that's like when I think of Hudson Valley, I think of Peaks. That's where the waterfront was. Where see the actual Hudson Valley River.
I tend to go no further south than say Middletown.
Mm-hmm. That one I don't.
I have a bunch of friends from Littlestown. I've got a bunch of friends from Littlestown. I've heard okay things about it. I thought they were lying whenever they told me that Littlestown was a place.
It's Hudson Valley is a great scene.
Yeah,
really?
There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of different people waiting for different things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
When I got here, a lot of it was like heavy hardcore, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Kev always does interesting stuff, from Negative Racks. But he does a whole bunch of everything from like dark wave to like Japan crustcore. He's really, really good at bringing like those international bands in. And then Holly has been running this zine called Outsider Magazine. She does all ages VFW hall shows in New Windsor one Friday a month. And like she also like leans towards like the punk rock. But I was like, oh, I'm going to do mixed bills. We're like, you can't do mixed bills. I'm like, what do you mean I can't do mixed bills? So you either got to do like a heavy hardcore show or, well, that's really pretty much all we do here. I was like, but what if I don't? What if I put a crust punk band on there with a ska band and an oi band and a skate punk band and like a thrash metal band? How will that work? Like, that's not going to work. I was like, I bet it will. I bet
Watch
people
me.
are like me, like more than one type of music. And you know what? I'm going to put a folk punk person and they're not going to open. I'm not going to make the person with the acoustic guitar be the opening act. I'm going to put them in the fucking middle.
Ooh.
I'm going to have them go between the grindcore band, right? Right? Yeah. And the 80s hardcore band. Because I can do that because I don't think fucking the acoustic guy always has to open.
We have a friend who's plays a lot of she plays amazing folk punk. It's absolutely outstanding. It's Little Death, and she's actually staying at my house tomorrow night. But what do you call it? I have like 5 people crash my floor tomorrow night because I have a show tomorrow. So you know how it is. But she's not playing the show. She's just coming up to see the show, and she's also crashing my floor.
Yeah.
But anyways, there were so many bills where we'd have her on playing first just because she was the acoustic act. And I'm like, I'm not going to keep doing this to you. And the next show she's on, I have her, she's headlining and if any of the bands ask, I'm like, oh, you know, she's work. She can't get there in time. But like, it's going to work with the bill.
It's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
People will sit through stuff. So the shows that I do once a month, I only charged $5 originally. Now it's 5 to 10 because they're always benefit shows now.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a person at the bar I'm there during the day, and he's like, you know, Scott, I've come to your shows for $5, 5 bands. I usually like 3 of them a lot,
Yeah.
and the other 2 are okay. Not my style because you do so much different stuff. But for $5,
Sure.
I'm happy to come here and like, if there's a band that I don't care for, they only play 30 minutes, and it's $5 for a PBR and a shot here. So I'll just have my $5 PBR and a shot and
Go have a cigarette.
Have a cigarette.
The show that Triangle Fire was on that we actually met them at was a ska show, and it was a ska punk because there's not enough ska in South Carolina to have like some local support, and like half the bands are ska punk, so I was like, why don't we just like combine them? And it was a skate punk band, oi, they're kind of all over the place. Band, 3 ska bands, and then Triangle Fire, and Triangle Fire did all their songs ska.
Fascinating. God, I love that band.
It was crazy. Tandy was, is it Tandy?
Yes, I think so.
She was like, yeah, so we don't know why we're on a ska bill, but we love ska. So here's all of our songs, but like ska now. And it was like they're like Circle Pit, they're like all their like hits they played like ska style, and it was
That
awesome.
is amazing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, when I booked them in the area here, I was so excited to have them. But and I told them this, so nothing I'm telling you is different than what I told them. I was like, but they were touring with 2 other bands. I was like, that is really difficult. When you do a tour with 3 bands and you need me to give you a show on a Wednesday and I can only put 1 local band on the bill, that is a really tough bill to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got angry because then the local band booked a show at the same venue the next day and announced it 3 days before the show. And I'm like, seriously? And I talked to them because they're young kids. And I was like, you know, that's kind of upset me. They're like, really? I was like, yeah. And like some promoters would actually be like actually angry at you. I'm more like, I'm going to use this as a teachable moment. And in the future, if I book you a show, and if you're the only local band on the bill especially, please don't book another show the next day in the same town, let alone the same fucking venue.
Yeah.
It's
Just saying.
horrible.
Right?
We really only do weekend shows. It's very interesting because this summer all of our shows have been Saturdays up to this point, and then we've had some Fridays and Sunday shows. Those are very few and far between. But this summer we have a couple shows where we have a couple weekday shows, and
Okay.
so I'm curious to see how that's going to go because the South Carolina scene specifically is a very we have shows Fridays, Saturdays, and then Sunday and Thursday sometimes, but everyone complains about them. Like people are like, oh, it's a Thursday show. I don't want to go to Thursday. I have work the next day. People go anyways. And I have a band that's like coming through on a Monday, and I have a band that's coming through on a Wednesday, and I'm like, I'm curious to see how that's gonna go because if we have more shows during days of the week, then it just means more shows. You know, it's
Yeah.
if I can have a Wednesday show, a Friday show, and a Saturday show, and
Hell
that's
yeah.
three different, like 12 different bands minimum that can play.
It's consistency, right? Like, if people get used to coming out to the shows and the shows run on time, I have this whole mantra that might put the punk in punctuality. My shows always start exactly on time.
So do ours.
And it's like, it's really important to me that they do. I had this young woman, I was at a show and she's like, yeah, I went to a show at the same venue that you weren't running last week and it was very disappointing. She's like, what do you mean? She's like, well, when you do a show, I'm a single mom with 2 kids and I hire a babysitter. I roll in and I get there right before the first band plays and I only stay for like 2 or 3 hours, but I get to see 3 hours worth of music and it was great and I appreciate that. This other person was running the show and I rolled in there and I waited 90 minutes for the first band to play and I got to see one band play before I had to leave and I paid a babysitter for that. And she's like, that was very disappointing to me. I was like, I'm very disappointed for you.
We so a lot of venues around here, they run on very heavy punk time, and so one of the things that we try to do in some shows is I'm like, we're starting on time. And I tell bands like, listen, load-in's an hour before doors. Uh, load-in's an hour before doors. We have an hour before doors. You don't get here within that 2 hours, then like, I'm not, which unless like you're like having really bad circumstances, like we can't. We're starting on time. Like, and we had a band once that was running. We had a band once that was running like behind. They're calling me like please don't start without us. I'm like it's 15 minutes is fine. You're stuck in traffic right now. Like you're stuck in traffic. You know you had like you're missing your bases because you got sick day up. Like you're having an awful day. Like, we can pump time for a bit for you, but people the second you start being unreliable when your shows start, people start being unreliable coming to your shows.
Exactly.
Mm.
Now that people know, because I've been doing shows for a year there, they know my shows start on time and the opening band always has people. You have to train them. And that was the point of my message about like you doing weekday shows. Once they know the shows are happening reliably and that they're going to end at a decent enough hour that they can get home, like not 2 a.m, then they're going to come.
They will.
If you tell me that there's a Wednesday night show that the door is going to be at 7 and music's at 8 and the show's over at 11, I'll be there.
Exactly.
You told me the door's at 7 and show's at 8 and the music doesn't start till 9:30, I won't come back.
Exactly.
I'll be like, no, fuck this.
There's an awful show I went to, and I won't name anything about the venue or the people involved, but they consistently shut shows late, and there was a festival they had, and the doors were at 2 p.m. and the first band went on at 5.
Shut up.
I stayed at 5 p.m. My friend's band was playing, so I was going to go to support. I stayed there I got there like at 3 p.m. because I got to start late, and I stayed there from 3 p.m. to midnight, and they're on band 5 of 12.
And like, I even tell bands, I'm like, look, don't ask for an extra time to do an extra song. Unless the people are cheering for an encore, don't ask, because if every band plays an extra 5 minutes, and there's 5 or 6 bands, that means the last band is going on 30, 40 minutes later. And we've all been the last band, and let's respect that band.
And like the other thing is,
to play to people
is the other thing with that is change your own time. And I've had bands. I don't usually work with like slam bands or deathcore bands. They all have they are a lot more picky with their equipment. And there was one time I had a band and they brought one and I had the local band back on the kit. And the band's like, hey, you want to use our kit? I'm like, you can use your kit, but then everyone else is using your kit. Because I'm not changing out the kits between sets. That's like a 30-minute effort.
Yeah, no.
And I know you're not fast enough to do it in 15. But
It's reminded me of that one show. We went to a show and one of the bands, the third band had a backtrack, had like a backing track, and
yes,
they didn't inform anyone at the venue that they had a backing track, and they were like, "Okay, put the backing track on," and the venue accommodated it, and we sat outside for 45 minutes and then left, like
because they took forever to set up, and the thing is that unless you're playing, it's my belief that if it's as important to be able to change around, get ready quickly, and have everything set up quickly, because I plan all my stuff to be loaded in and loaded out quickly. But I think it's as important for bands to be able to load in and load out quickly, because that means that they can play sooner, to more people be like, because the less time between bands, the more you keep the momentum going.
If a band starts tearing down their drums on stage, I lose my ever-loving shit.
Yeah. I'm not even a drummer, and me too.
Yeah. So I remember the last time I played the Tin Roof in Charleston, they told me I had to like use the Backline's drum set. And I was like, that's fine. Except I'm a pro. And I would have my entire drum set and cymbal stand set up outside while the band before us is playing. I would set it all up outside for a quick change in. But I'll use it. Of course, the band before me takes the drum set that everyone's sharing and switches it to play left-handed because he's left-handed. So then I come back, I have to switch it to be right-handed, which is more work than if I just brought in my own fucking drums. And then the clutch on the hi-hat is weird and it slices my hand. I'm like, it's fine. But I could have been totally prepared because I was used to playing shows at the Sidebar in Baltimore and like setting my drums up in January in the cold on the sidewalk and carrying it in when the other band was done and then carrying it out covered in sweat, catching pneumonia, because that's what you fucking did.
That's what you do.
Like you just were ready.
Yeah. And I think it's more of an issue of the main reason why I'm sure this will change in the future. I'm so like I get so like angry about people switching around drums is because every time I've not seen many bands that can do it fast and efficient. And like if I had you playing a show and you're like, listen, I get these drums switched in like 10 minutes, I'm like, you know what? Go for it. I trust you. Like you can, if you tell me you can do it fast, then whatever happens isn't better.
If they already have it set up on, if there's some space, either inside or outside, where they have everything set up and all it is carry it in and move it, that's fine. But if they are pulling it out of their drum bags and setting it up, fuck that shit.
Yeah, fuck off.
Sorry.
That's good to know. I hadn't considered that like you can preset it out and carry it in. I'll add that to my like list of
If they want to use their own kit, then they're setting that shit up in whatever back room or side space or outside, wherever the load-in area is, and they're gonna like have it set up so it's just a carry-in situation.
That reminds me of we saw No Cure over the winter, and we looked over to like the green room, which wasn't it's kind of just like next to the stage, and there were like 4 different kits set up, and it's really funny because they all had their kits set up in a line. But you know,
that's how they wanted it.
Do you ever try and just organize the bands and provide a back line to avoid all this?
Oh yeah, every show we make sure there's a back line of drums. We provide microphones and PA, of course, but we always the first thing we do as soon as we have a line is like, hey, who's bringing drums? And usually what I'll end up doing is I'll message whichever band's the closest, so you don't have to drive like 4 hours with a kit. Like, hey, you guys live 5 minutes down the road from this venue. Can you bring a kit? They say no, I'm with the next closest. And sometimes the band will be on tour, have a kit with them. Sometimes the band will like not have a good kit and look close, so another band will bring it. But
I think I mentioned that like RB and X would backline if they needed to, but they prefer not to since they're on tour.
Yeah, and Molting brought their kit just fine because they live right there.
Yeah. Just because when you're on tour, if something breaks, then you're fucked.
Yeah, you don't. I would never expect a touring band to bring a kit, even a band that's traveling from out of state.
They bring it. And they'll even share it. It's just the less they share it, the better they like it, which I get.
Very understand that. Very much so understand that.
All right, I am sorry, but we
cut
have
us
to
off?
wrap this up. We are at 2 hours, and I've drank enough liquid that I'm gonna have to like visit the little whatever you want to call it. Like I can't hold it in much longer.
Thanks for talking to us.
I have loved chatting with you.
Thank you.
I mean, seriously, I'm so glad I met you both. I'm really excited to work with you again in the future.
You definitely will.
Please email me all of your Instagram, Zoe's, if you have an Instagram for your art that you do, so people can reach out to you for your art. For both of you, like, send me everything you want me to put in the description. Thank you, everyone that's listening. If you're booking a tour in the Carolinas, definitely reach out to Max and Zoe. If you're a person who says, oh, I want someone to help me booking shows in the Northwestern PA, reach out to Zoe. Zoe's got time on their hands. They're doing nothing. They're just graphic
Figure
arts
something
and
to
political
do.
science.
Yeah,
They need something to do. I don't really know what's on. Zoe, Max, if you want to come to the Hudson Valley ever, like, please let me know. I would love to have you come up here. It'd be an utmost pleasure. I've just enjoyed you both. Thank you so much. Like, this has been an absolute treat.
I've heard your dining room is very comfortable to sleep in.
That was my old house where I had a carpet. I have hardwood floors now.
Okay.
So yes, you are welcome to sleep under my dining room table anytime you want. And my children are old enough now that they're probably not going to throw stuff at you. I had a common enemy sleep in my kids' guest room once, and they had like this weird monkey where you threw it and it screamed, ah, 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 ah. And that's how they woke up the band members. They were like 4 and 2 at the time.
I like it. I like it.
I like
good.
it a lot.
It's good stuff. But thank you all very much. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
And for those of you listening, please go to the description, follow them, follow DCPC, subscribe to the podcast, go to my website, buy some fucking vinyl. It would really help me put out more vinyl. Like, I'm not a nonprofit, but I'm certainly not a profit.
So you're nonprofit, but not intentionally.
Wow. That sounds worse. Capitalism. I'm a political science major, not an economics major.
Yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason.
Yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason. All right,
Thank
I'm going to go ahead and say stop.
Have a good night.